Because we need to talk about the Federal Reserve. You know, that shadowy cabal of bankers who control the world's money supply? Well, they've been losing money. A lot of money. $77.6 billion in 2024, to be precise. Now, you might be thinking, John, that's just a rounding error for those fat cats. But this, my friends, is historic. It's the first time the Fed has dipped into the red in over a century. This isn't some esoteric financial hiccup. This impacts all of us. See, the Fed usually funnels its profits back to the Treasury, helping to fund, America. But with the money tap turned off, the Treasury's coffers are looking a little bare. So, how did we get here? Well, it's a tale of risky bets, global turmoil, and a hefty dose of good old-fashioned incompetence. Buckle up, folks, because it's about to get bumpy. Now, you can't talk about government waste without mentioning our favorite Twitter-obsessed billionaire, Elon Musk. Since taking the helm of the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency, Musk has been on a crusade to trim the fat, saving a cool $55 billion by February 2025. He's been bringing in his tech wizardry, you see, using big data and algorithms to sniff out inefficiencies. He's also been poaching top talent from Silicon Valley, because who needs experience in government when you can code in Python, am I right? But even with Musk's best efforts, the Fed's losses are a gaping wound that even his billions can't bandage. The problem is, you can't just disrupt your way out of structural economic problems. It's like trying to fix a sinking ship with duct tape and a prayer. And while we're on the topic of things falling apart, let's talk about America's heartland, the agricultural sector. The USDA's National Animal Health Laboratory Network, the folks responsible for keeping our food supply safe from nasty outbreaks, is hanging on by a thread. They've been gutted by budget cuts, with staffing levels down to a skeleton crew. It's like trying to fight a wildfire with a garden hose. We're talking about avian flu, swine fever, the works. These diseases don't care about budget constraints. They just want to spread, and spread they will, leaving a trail of economic devastation in their wake. Empty supermarket shelves, soaring food prices. It's enough to make you want to take up subsistence farming in your backyard. Section 4, Structural Shifts. The Fed's post-2008 transformation. To understand how we got into this mess, we need to rewind back to 2008. Remember the financial crisis, the housing bubble burst, Lehman Brothers going belly up, good times? Well, in the aftermath of that whole debacle, the Fed underwent a radical transformation. See, they were given this new power, the ability to pay interest on bank reserves. Sounds boring, right? Well, it was anything, but this seemingly innocuous change shifted the Fed's entire income model. They were now basically making money by borrowing low and lending high. But then came the pandemic, and the Fed, like a sugar-crazed toddler, went on a money-printing spree. They slashed interest rates to near zero and pumped trillions into the economy. And for a while it seemed like the party would never end. But then inflation reared its ugly head, forcing the Fed to slam the brakes on their easy money policies. Section 5. The broken dollar, global capital in flux. Now, all of this is happening against the backdrop of a weakening dollar. The greenback, once the undisputed king of the global financial jungle, is looking a little long in the tooth. Remember, that whole dollar tide of capital flowing into the US, well, the tide has turned. Investors are looking for safer harbors, and they're finding them in places like China and the Eurozone. This has left the US in a precarious position. Every move the Fed makes, whether it's cutting rates, raising rates, or just standing still, carries enormous risks. It's like trying to defuse a bomb with a pair of rusty tweezers. One wrong move and the whole thing could blow up in our faces. Section 6. Geopolitical chessboard securing US interests. And as if things weren't bad enough, we've got a whole world of geopolitical chaos to contend with. From the war in Ukraine to tensions with China, the global landscape is looking increasingly unstable, and the US, let's be honest, hasn't exactly been a beacon of stability in recent years. We've got airstrikes in Yemen, saber-rattling with Iran, and a president who seems to think that tariffs are a magic wand that can solve all our problems. The truth is, the US is in a fight for its economic life, and the outcome of that fight will determine the fate of not just our country, but the entire world. So, buckle up, folks, it's going to be a bumpy ride.